Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of the cEDH cast. My name is Ian, and with me, as always, is my co-host Braden.
Hey, guys.
On today's very special episode, we are going to be talking about a legendary announcement. The first time ever a card has been banned before coming into print in Commander. But before we get into that, Braden, do you want to tell people where it can be found on social media?
We're on Twitter at the cEDH cast. We're on YouTube at the cEDH cast. And you can find us at the cEDH cast on most other social media.
Now, we are going to be talking about the banning of a card from Ikoria, Lair Behemoths, the new set that, once again, has not been set to print. So in Ikoria, there is a new mechanic called Companion. And the way it works for a 60-card format is these Companion cards, if you build your deck within a certain way, you can put a Companion card in your sideboard. And those Companion cards, you can reveal them at the beginning of the game, and it's basically like they're in your hand for the entirety of the game. However, with Commander, they have made a special exception, and they have said that if your deck fits the deck building restraints that show up in the Companion card, you can have a Companion, and it does not count as a card in your deck. It does not count as a commander. It just is there. Because of this, one of these cards has immediately been banned. Braden, do you want to read Lutri?
Sure. Lutri the Spellchaser. It's for 1 and 2 hybrid mana. The hybrid colors are in blue and red, so it's 1 blue or red, blue or red. It's a legendary creature elemental otter, and it's a rare. It has Companion, and the deck building restriction is each non-land card in your deck has a different name. So it's basically like Tainted Pact. It has Flash, and then when it enters
Except it says non-land.
Yeah, you're right. So it's much like Tainted Pact, except you can actually play multiple basics. Which is really the only deck building restriction for Tainted Pact in Commander. So basically this card has no deck building restrictions in Commander. It has Flash, and when it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. And then it has a 3/2 body. So
great.
It's a lot like Narumea or Dualcaster Mage, except it doesn't go infinite with Twin Flame or Ghostly Flicker. So it's not even really an infinite mana card. It is just a 3-mana...
fair Dualcaster Mage.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a 3-mana fair Dualcaster Mage, or a 3-mana fork you get to play at no deck building restriction for... Basically, if and in any Izzet deck, you could play this card, and it would just always be there for you to pay 3 mana to copy a spell an opponent casts.
Right, because this Companion restriction is literally just the rules of Commander, there is literally no downside in any Izzet deck to having this card. Like, it's not like it takes a card out of your deck. It would just be, this would be a free supplement to your deck. I'm going to read the official announcement from the Commander Rules Committee. Banning Lutri the Spellchaser. We've never banned a card before its street release date, but we feel strongly compelled to do so for Lutri the Spellchaser, period. It is a card unlike any other in Magic's history. While we are firm believers in giving cards their opportunity in the format, it is clear that Lutri would be banned almost immediately. It doesn't have an opportunity cost. You don't have to sacrifice it in a spot in the 100 in order to play it. Meaning, if you have the card and are playing the right colors, you can simply include it. It becomes a thing we're not fans of, namely a must-play. A big part of this decision is that we don't want players to acquire the card thinking it might remain legal. There was consideration for letting it loose for a quarter with the likely plan to ban it later just in case it was bad as we thought. Because from where we sit, as Lutri as a 101st card is intensely problematic. In the end, this is a special case, and we think that the conversation approach is the better option.
The conservative approach.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We think the conservative approach is a better option. Sorry. So that's very interesting, right? It is the first ever time a card has been banned before we are seeing it in paper, before people have it in their hands. And I have to say, I don't know about you, Braden, but I do completely agree with them here.
I do. I disagree that it's actually a conservative approach. I don't think it's very
Yes.
conservative. I think it's rational, but I don't think that makes it conservative. I think the conservative approach would have been to just wait a month and let people build their decks and get punished. I actually
Right.
don't think this really would have been a problem in Commander, but I think from a philosophy perspective, it shouldn't even exist. In cEDH, I think it would have. I mean, it's just a card that you'd see in every deck, but can you
Yeah.
imagine that Opus Thief just gets to play a 3 mana fork at no cost, like literally no
Opus Thief has
cost?
a third commander. Like
Yeah.
just that. Opus Thief has a flash Timna threat in the command zone that can fork a spell.
Oh, and by the way,
What?
it is a creature, so like, well, your opponent is holding up a Flusterstorm to protect their ad nauseum, and you have 3 mana up, and you just go, oh, by the way, here's my Elemental Otter. I'm gonna also get an ad nauseum, and all that protection you have up doesn't do anything because
Right.
most of the interaction in our format is like 1 mana counter and a non-creature spell. So
Mm-hmm.
this card would have. I'm really happy it's not legal, to be honest. I think this entire
Same.
mechanic is really unhealthy to the format. I think it's a flavor fail, but I think it's very,
I
very
think I
good.
think
It's not
Companion
allowed.
is yeah, we share the opinion on this that Companion is probably one of the worst mechanics they've printed for Commander in a very long time. It
Maybe
is
ever. I have never had a problem with
it's
Eminence. I've never had a problem with Partner, really. Like, Partner's very
right.
good, but I wouldn't say, like, wow, I really wish they never printed Partner. Um,
And we haven't seen the other companion commanders, but from the impression I'm getting from people, they are considerably more, I would guess, straightforward and fair. There's another one, Karuga, right now that is just like you can't have cards with CMC 2 or less in your deck, and like that is at least that's a deck building restriction. Whereas the Otter is literally just the rules of Commander, and that's ridiculous. Like
yeah.
I just think this whole thing is that them realizing that Commander is their cash cow right now. So they're like, what if we made the rest of the all of our formats have a Commander? And that's like, what are you doing?
I hadn't really
Like
considered it that way. That's interesting.
it, it's literally giving a Commander to 60 card formats.
That's really
Like
interesting.
these are all legendary
I
creatures.
had not looked at it that way. I think you're right, though. I will say though that like having an extra card in the command zone is so powerful that like there are deck building restrictions I would consider. For example, there's a Gyruda, Doom of the Depths. It's a 6 mana 6/6. The companion cost is starting your starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana costs. And then when it enters the battlefield, each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into the graveyard, and you put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control. That's not a very good card,
Hmm.
but it's if it wasn't 6 mana, it could be. Um,
Yeah,
like
but once again, it's like I mean that cost is a lot. Like
oh
only
yeah,
having even spells,
oh
that's
yeah,
like a
you miss out on
huge
Soul Ring, which is just absurd, and you miss out on a lot of the like cheap interaction in the format. So
right.
like I don't think there's going to be a deck playing this card, but that's pretty close. It's pretty close to where like I read that card, I have to start thinking, okay, it's in blue black. All right, we're not playing Mana Dorks. All right,
Right.
we can't play Soul Ring, which sucks. We can't play Swan Song, and then I'm like, okay, that isn't worth it. But I think we still have several more of them to go. I think we're going to see one probably better than worse than Lutri, better than anything we've seen so far. Where someone's going to do the math and be like, maybe incorrectly, but they'll say, I think this is worth it. I'm going to play into this deck building restriction, which is probably where like the power level should be,
Right.
preferably. But I don't, I don't like this. I still don't like this mechanic. I,
I think it's a terrible mechanic.
I
I do.
don't like the idea that you get another commander. It's just kind of broken. I don't like the idea that it isn't in your command zone. I think it's a flavor fail. Like I don't really care about flavor, but like here I really do. Like if it was a companion to your commander, I'd be like, oh, that's really interesting. I kind of like that. But it's not. It's like in your sideboard. It's it's not in the game. Like I don't want sideboards on commander. I just don't. And like I'm kind of salty that we're at a point now where they aren't, because now that entire design space is opened up, which makes me really salty. Um, I'm not happy. I mean, I'm happy that Lutri is not legal, but I'm genuinely
Yeah.
not happy about this mechanic. I hope we get lots of other cool stuff. seeing what we've seen so far from the set, doesn't look like this is going to be a very cEDH relevant set, but you never know.
Yes, agreed. I think this companion mechanic definitely has the highest chance to throw a wrench in the format.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's just a super degenerate. I mean, look at
Mm-hmm.
Lutri. Like, the card literally got banned before the format even got access to it. And
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to say, like, they said that there's, like, a bar for ubiquity, right? And with this, they literally have just said, well, we have a feeling this is going to be ubiquitous. I'm not sure it really would have been, but it definitely would have created a lot of salt. So, again, I'm happy to see it gone, but I wish they... I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking for something to complain about, but I wish... I'm not... Maybe I just wish Wizards hadn't made this card. That's probably the actual answer.
That's what I wish.
I'm
is
not
that
happy
this,
that the
these
rules
cards
committee...
were not made.
I wish the rules committee wasn't put in this situation, to be honest. I'm not envious of them.
And as far as any sort of dissent on this decision, were I in their shoes, I would have 100% snapped off the exact same decision. So not often do we hear us 100% agreeing with the rules committee, but this time I at least personally am. But that's it. We really just wanted to. I mean, this episode's going to be barely edited. I'm literally just going to clip some sound on this and throw it out to you at home because we really want everyone to really just have this information as soon as possible. So thank you for joining us for this very important announcement. Braden, before we go, do you want anything to say, or do you want to just close it off?
Close it off.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for an episode of the cEDH Cast. My name is Ian, and with me, as always, my co-host, Braden. Have an amazing week. Bye.
Bye.